Joe Biden and the economy. He's giving a speech at Brookings today. It seems to me to be, I can't imagine what metric of success his team thinks is going to be
Oh,
achieved.
this is I
To
just
me, this is sad unless he overperforms my expectations. Go ahead, Sean. Say something with the word sad in it.
it is sad because he's going to try. This is going to be a revisionist history. He's going to talk about gas prices are falling. Don't worry, the economy is not as bad as you think it is. It's on the upswing. Here's a bunch of government statistics that tell you, despite what you feel, things are much better. And
Well,
I did a great job.
and here's how I did it. Here's
Right.
how
Here's how
Bidenomics
I.
works.
This
I
is
told you from the start we were going to grow it from the bottom down up, not the top down, from the inside out, not the outside in. And as my grandma used to say, God love him or whatever.
this is. I mean, this is literally his
It's
attempt to
just so
rewrite.
misguided. It's just so, as my son would say, it's cringe. Dan.
Ah, Well, look, I think this is what presidents do before they leave office. They try to put the best spin, which to
Yeah.
some extent, I'm surprised he hasn't done more of this type of stuff as he gets ready to leave. Look, I think for Democrats and for Joe Biden, there is immense frustration on this issue. They are not wrong that they inherited an economy in really rough shape, right? It just COVID did that, whether it was Trump 2.0 or Joe Biden, things were bad, right? Joe Biden was there in 2009 when most Democrats think Obama did not do enough to get us out of the financial crisis. And so we had kind of 8 years of modest, tepid growth. And so they went big. And I think Biden very much believes that, in the fact that like we are better than the rest of the world, we got out of it quicker, we're stronger. All of that said, right, to Sean's point, you can say all the statistics you want, but in people's guts, they don't feel like it's better. And inflation's been crushing and they belittled it or they tried to play it down. So like, I get it. They want to try to, accentuate things that they feel like they did well, reasons that like history shouldn't be as harsh as it probably will be. But it does, appear like the stone's going to drop in the pond or the tree's going to fall and no one's going to hear it here.
I
Let
think
me
the one
let me
thing
put a
that
sh Good.
the uniqueness of this that I think is fascinating from a political standpoint. If you're Biden, you when you ran for re-election, in theory, you would have made this case, right? And you kind of allowed somebody else to do it for you. And like anybody else, you never think that they did it as good as you could have. They didn't articulate the nuances of your policies and the results of. And so this is Biden saying, like, look, she went out there and tried to sell it. I don't think she did as good of a job as I could have. I'm going to go out there now and recap for everyone kind of what they missed.
Well, by
But
the way, Sean,
I
like, I
put
mean, this should have happened in real time. Every time they put a point on the board, like Bill Clinton would have gone to swing states in 2021, in early 2022, saying, these are all the things I did. These are all the deliverables, town halls, media interviews. Instead, they were like completely, the guy couldn't do it. Like he just physically could not perform.
right.
And so you're right. It is just kind of comical that
he
now, like,
he
yeah.
put a sharper point on what I was trying to say before. He is not good at explaining a theory of the case about the economy. He never has been. He was chair of foreign relations and judiciary. He doesn't do the economy really. He thinks he does. And so today he's going to go out and try again to do something he failed to do. He even failed to do when he ran for president and won.
Yeah.
I will say a lesson, though, that I draw from this administration, which is something I've seen in every administration I've covered. Whether your president is good at explaining the economy or not, like Bill Clinton was good, Ronald Reagan was good, you need a commander in chief on the economy because the president can't be the daily commander in chief. And that commander in chief needs to have credibility on Wall Street, credibility with CEOs, and ability to explain to real people the economy. Okay. Janet Yellen and the two or three people who've been head of the National Economic Council, as Grandma Biden would say, God love them, but they are not that. Janet Yellen is not that. She has been AWOL on a public face on the economy the whole time. She wasn't chosen for that role. It's a huge mistake. And one of the things I think you're going to see with this incoming administration is they've got in Scott Bessent someone who is very comfortable talking to CEOs and Wall Street and the public about the economy. And Trump himself can do it, as well. But if you say what were the failures of the Biden administration, They had no commander in chief on the economy, and particularly when you're coming out of a pandemic, particularly when you're dealing with rampant inflation, you need someone on TV every day saying, "Here's what we're doing. Here's what we've got going on. Here's how we're going to fix it. We got this under control." And the notion that Janet Yellen did that for 40 seconds over 4 years is bullocks. Sean.
But you think about it, I just mentioned Kirby. He goes out there on a daily basis.
He's great.
Press secretaries to briefing, talks about national security, foreign policy. And to Dan's point, the one thing that people care about the most is their own wallet, their own well-being. How's their family doing? Can they pay the bills? I honestly, if you had said to me 2 seconds ago, quick quiz, who's the Treasury Secretary? I don't. I mean,
here's a tougher quiz. It's not been 4 years yet, so it's something short of 4 years. Name anything Janet Yellen has said memorable about the economy in 4 years.
Inflation is transitory.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
There you go.
The only thing you can remember is the stupid things.
Okay, who have been the head of the National Economic Council? Go.
Exactly.
Who has it been?
Dan,
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Some guy whose name I can't remember, who's very good, and what's her name, who's in the job now, but you can't name them, let alone anything memorable they said.
Brian Deese?
Brian Deese. It was Brian Deese, and then what's her name's there now? I can't remember her name. My point is, you need a commander-in-chief on the economy, even when things are going well. You need somebody like Bob Rubin, who when they're on TV, people who care about the economy say, turn up the audio. That's Bob Rubin. I want to know what he's got to say because he knows a lot about the economy. Instead, Janet Yellen, inflation is transitory, the end.
Right.
Disaster.